This is Driving Solutions, exclusively on CBTNews.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us on another edition of Driving Solutions right here at CBTNews.com. With uncertainty around tariffs, dealerships are doubling down on what has always been a steady profit center, the service department. On today's show, we are taking a look at how recalls, when handled right, can drive both revenue and retention. Joining us now in the studio is Ryan Maher, who is the CEO of BizzyCar. This is a company I know you've heard a lot about because there's a lot of dealerships that have already signed on, and the reviews are stunning. What they can do for your dealership is amazing. That's why we wanted to bring Ryan in here, get it straight from the horse's mouth. So welcome into the studio.
Thanks for having me, Jim. Great to be with you.
For sure. So let's kind of jump in here. First and foremost, I want to find out, how you came up with the concept. I mean, obviously you're an automobile dealer and you had some pain points there, but I'll let you take it from there. How did this whole thing get started?
Yeah, so third generation dealer from the Midwest, grew up in the family business. And a couple years ago, we were dealing with the hangover from Takata airbags.
Okay, yeah.
Super frustrating recall. And the biggest challenge that we had with the recall was, where do we find these vehicles and how do we get them in without having to do this really manual process? And on a whim, about 5 years ago, I went to Auto Trader and started looking for vehicles on used car lots that had these Takata airbags.
Wow.
And sure as you can believe it, the first VIN that we went out there and found had one of these recalls, and we were able to go out there and grab it, and that was kind of the birth of BizzyCar.
Right. Wow, that's amazing, because there are so many vehicles out there that there's open recalls on that any dealer will also tell you that it drives revenue, because everybody that comes in, as we know, for a recall item, there's money behind that, right?
Yeah.
You need tires, you need this, right?
Exactly. So you get 70 million cars on the road today with a recall, about 1 out of 4 vehicles. We recalled 27 million cars last year in the U.S.
Oh my gosh.
Huge number. And in our business, we like to say use recalls as the hook.
Yeah.
Use them to get the customer in. And if you can reach out to these customers and get them in, a lot of the times they're going to buy something else, and that's a great way to increase that fixed ops revenue.
And the OEM, under the law, is only required to reach out once, right, to let them know about the recall? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so, and it's interesting, the law is actually changing.
Okay.
It's in flux right now. I'll be in DC next week to talk about that a little bit. But right now, federal law requires the car manufacturer to send a letter to everybody when that recall gets announced.
Right.
And what we're doing is we've digitized that solution.
Okay.
And the challenge with the manufacturer's approach is, I'm a millennial, and if something's coming in the mail,
I might read it, I might not.
It's 50-50 shot. So what we're working on is, how do we get in front of the customer? And for us, it's a text message.
Yeah.
And
100%.
TCPA exempt. We're able to reach out to these customers, and that's how you really get in front of them.
Yeah, there's no question about it. 70 million vehicles on the road right now with open recalls. That's got to be billions of dollars, right, in work to be done at dealerships.
It is. So about $22 billion of economic impact.
22 billion.
22 billion just in the U.S.
Wow.
We do operate in Canada as well.
Okay.
And so there's another couple $1 billion up there. And these recalls they're 70% gross margin.
Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity to reach out and bring customers in that many haven't been in there in years.
That's right.
So it's more than just driving profit.
Yeah.
We're also able to drive retention.
Sure.
And if you do it right and the experience is good, retention, high CSI, good experience. Now you get these customers back in.
And also, I might add, because I'm putting my dealer hat on here, trade-ins. Because now you've got that customer coming back in at a time that everybody in the auto industry is looking for a good trade-in, or I should say a good used car to sell, because I think we're going to be in the used car business for the foreseeable future here in a very big way. What a great way to also acquire vehicles, right?
That's been kind of a stealthy horse for us. We didn't even expect that to happen.
Yeah.
And large OEM that we work with up in Canada ran a study, and it turned out that a huge number of these cars we were bringing in for recalls were actually becoming trades.
Wow.
And talk about a huge hook.
Oh, there's no question about it.
Yeah, and the ability for us to text these customers without their consent because we're TCPA exempt, game changer. And what a better customer experience, and I get to kick the tires of another car. Yeah, fantastic.
Wow, no question about it. While your car's here, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, why don't you take a look in the showroom? And as we know, that many times that ends up in them driving out in their new car, and saying, kiss the service bill and the old car goodbye, right?
I just got to get them in the store, right?
That's right.
That's all we're trying to do.
Yeah, there's no question about it. So in terms of the platform, I mean, it's tried and true. I mean, you're in how many stores now, roughly, around the country?
So just last year alone, we added 1,000 stores.
Oh my gosh!
We're adding over 100 rooftops a month right now to the platform.
Congratulations.
The thing I'm really excited about is we keep over 90% of them after a year.
Yeah.
So it means the product is
working.
Is hot and it's sticky.
That's
we
right.
like that.
That's right.
So we're quickly adding. Work with 19 global car manufacturers. We're down to our last 2 or 3 that we don't work with, and I think we'll have them by the end of this year.
Why wouldn't they go with you? I mean, this only makes them look better, and also their dealers, I would think, be screaming, "You better get with BizzyCar to make sure that we can," right?
100%. The other thing is that the law is changing. In January, instead of just sending out snail mail, now digital communication is becoming part of the law of the land.
Okay.
There's a lot that we're doing to help be a part of that solution.
Oh, that's great. That's great. The shift towards mobile service in the auto industry. Talk to us about that and how BizzyCar helps dealers launch and scale a mobile service program.
Love it or hate it, mobile service is here to stay.
It is,
and as a dealer myself, it's hard to say, is mobile, is it pencil, does it work, are the economics there? In an EV world, I have to have a solution to get to my customer when there's no oil change. What's my loss leader? So the solution is it's mobile, it's service valet. Mobile service is gone through, I think, a tough couple years, but I think now we have it figured out. The key to it is predictable revenue streams and technology.
Okay.
What I mean by that is recalls are the bread and butter for us to get things going. And then when you can marry it up with a fantastic mobile platform that we've built, it's like Uber or Amazon, and because it's so deeply integrated, it makes it so much easier for the dealers to be successful on the platform.
Of course, yeah. I spoke to one dealer that's got 20 trucks out there on mobile service, which is unbelievable.
We have some dealers. Our largest dealer has over 40 mobile trucks.
Wow.
We work with many of the publics. We've got some really big customers that are reimagining. Sure. And I just got back from Detroit last week, where I think we're down to our last domestic OEM that's really going to start getting deep into the mobile space. But yeah, we work with 7 OEMs today, helping with their mobile solutions.
Wow, that's incredible. How much of your day is spent on BizzyCar versus running a busy dealership?
My brother oversees all of our stores. He's a fantastic operator. I pop in from time to time, but our dealer group is a great testing center for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's built by car dealers for car dealers. It seems to always be a winning solution, right?
It is,
because sometimes you'll get a product and you're like, do you know what we do on the, in the service center or on the showroom floor? Because it's one thing to have great technology, but it's another to say this is going to work in practice. And obviously, you guys have already. It's tried and true, right?
We eat our own dog food, and that's the key to us. Is we're not just a vendor trying to sell you a product. We're a vendor that's trying to solve a pain point. Right. And that's what we do. Is we fix pain.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't imagine if you pitched me and I was a dealer, and you pitch. I don't know. This sounds like a no-brainer to me. I mean, is the pitch really that easy? I guess so. If you're putting 100 stores a month on, that's incredible.
It's a no-brainer. There are 70 million cars out there, and
exactly.
The thing that makes the product work so well is you don't have to click any buttons.
Yeah.
We just come in, we hook into your DMS.
Right.
We flip a switch, and cars start showing up.
Nice.
If you don't want the free revenue, somebody down the street will take it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk to us about some recent milestones. I know that you guys have had some $15 million growth funding round led by Dealer Tire. What does that mean for BizzyCar's future?
We're super excited about that. Dealer Tire has been a fantastic partner for us. So $30 million raised to date at this point.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Last fall, the Dealer Tire partnership, and Dealer Tire, massive player in the space.
Yeah.
They're in over 50% of the dealer network nationwide.
Oh, wow.
So they've really helped us, not just from a capital perspective, but from a strategic perspective, being able to accelerate some of our growth, and help us with things that as a small company, we don't do a lot of enterprise relationships. they are fantastic at that.
That's great. That's
been really good for us.
And they know firsthand that if you're bringing these cars back in, it's a perfect marriage to their products and services, right? I mean, it goes hand in hand.
Sell more tires, sell more aftermarket.
Yeah.
That's really what we're focused on is use the recall as the hook.
Right.
And then there's so much more you can do with that customer. Right. It's about building that relationship, and some of the customers we bring in haven't been in years.
Yeah.
And that's a way to reintroduce yourself to that customer, and it's a great experience for them.
No question about it. Talk to us about some of the industry trends that we're seeing out there. Obviously, the pressure is once again on fixed ops, as it was during COVID, right? And now we're seeing tariffs, and dealers are already, that I'm interviewing, going, well, we're going to focus on used cars and fixed ops and our body shop if we have one, or a collision center, what have you. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I was in the Marine Corps, and there's a famous Eisenhower quote that says, amateurs talk tactics, professionals talk logistics, right? So maybe in the car world, the analogy is, if you're only talking about car sales, you're missing the boat, right? You got to be focused on fixed. And here it is again. We have tariffs, we have disruption, uncertainty. It's stressful.
Right. That's right.
So getting back to our basics, there's a dealer I talked to. I was at a huge 20 group meeting yesterday, and every dealer in that room is talking about the fundamentals, the basics, fixed ops. And so we're really zeroing in on that. If there's a way to bring customers in, and not just the easy stuff, not the express service, not the oil changes, but good high-paying CP work.
Right.
That's a great way to keep your operation, your dealership, not just highly profitable, but keep everything else running while we work through these uncertain times.
That's right.
That's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to make it easier for dealers. We want to bring you cars, book you appointments, and have it run in the background. Yeah,
that's fantastic. And as I said, all dealers are now focused on all of these other profit centers in the dealership. And it will be interesting to see what happens with the tariff situation. Any predictions on that topic?
I was following what happened New York Auto Week this week. I think we've got some good support. It's good to see Senator Moreno and all that come together. Sure. But I think at this point we just need to pick a course and stick to it.
I know.
And I think bringing the temperature down in the room will really help. Yeah. Especially as we get into the busy summer selling season. We'd like to have a good summer, and so we can have a strong year.
Sure. I spoke to one economist from the Presidio Group, and he said that if you look at the last few years, 2022 was the strongest year profitability-wise for dealers, and he reminded me that was at a 13 million SAR. Yeah. And he said, so I wouldn't panic yet. Can dealers do very well with 4 or 5 million less sales? And that's about how many vehicles we're talking about that would have a 25% tariff on them. So he felt as though, and it's a little bit different situation because not every consumer is getting checks from the government, and we've got higher interest rates. But he felt as though it's not, even if the worst case scenario and these tariffs stay, it's not going to be a terrible situation for dealers. As a dealer, would you agree with that, or?
I think in the short term, he's absolutely correct, right? You're gonna have higher gross on those cars. There's a supply and demand, equilibrium that's gonna get hit. Long term, though, it's hurting UIO. Yeah. And that's something we gotta think about. I mean, we crush 12 million cars a year in the U.S. Most people don't know that. Right. So there is supply that's leaking.
That's right.
And if we don't replenish it, these cars they break, they get, and we gotta stay on top of that. Yeah, so short term, I think we can work through it. Right. Long term, we got to get back to normalcy.
Yeah, and this is coming at a time that we're coming off of an incredible March, and for many dealers that I talked to,
we had a great March.
Yeah, it seems to be flowing somewhat into April. From some of the dealers that I talked to, I'm not sure. Are you experienced pretty good?
January and February were a little soft.
Yeah.
I think everybody was breathing a little easier. You had some, a lot of OEMs fiscal year ends happen, so there were some incentives there to make it happen. But I would really, really like to see us come into a strong Memorial Day weekend. In June, we want to nail June
for sure,
and have a strong summer.
Right. Now it could be that through June, where we go through the 2 million cars, 3 million cars that are sitting on lots right now, right?
Yeah.
By the time we get to, right?
And then what happens?
And then what happens?
Then what are we going to do?
That's where the rubber meets the road right there.
You have a prediction?
No, I don't have a prediction. I have spoken to so many analysts about this that my head is spinning right now. I think that we're gonna see a new ball game come June 1 to June 15th, where dealers are now ordering cars, assuming that the tariffs stay in place as they are today, right?
Yeah.
But
I hope you're right.
Yeah.
And again, if there is going to be a change, let's pick a course and stick to it.
I agree. Whatever that is, because these changes coming out of the White House is difficult for dealers to plan.
Long term,
right?
I think there's a lot of good that's happening right now.
Yeah, sure.
But we gotta get there.
That's right. That's right. Talk to us about some of you've got some really top performing dealers on the program, well-known dealers that are just racking up some dollars and some hours on this. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we work in 40 of the 50 largest groups in the U.S. Some of our best dealers, the Tasca Group, Pack Group down in Texas. I mean, some of these stores are making six figures a month in recall work, and then the upsells that come with it.
How do you even put a number on that? Or the car sales alone.
Yeah, the trade-in that comes with it. There's a lot of benefits.
Sure.
Where their success is really measured for us is how many units are we bringing back that you haven't seen in the last few years,
right.
and if we can translate that into upsells, buying more cars. I was with a group of dealers yesterday in a 20 group, and it's just reminding them. One of the things I've had to learn as a vendor, the dark side of of this, different.
Right.
Articulating value.
Yeah.
Showing the dealer, hey, this is what we've done for you this month.
Yeah.
We gotta keep that simple.
Yeah.
Dealers have dashboards. There's stuff all over the place that they can look at, and showing, communicating, articulating that value. And we've got some great success stories. And we're putting them on our website. We'll do a better job of that here in the next few months.
I was going to say that for the dealers that are watching, they're going to go to your website to check out those success stories.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this as I said in the beginning, this as a dealer myself, a former dealer, this seems to be a no-brainer for me to pick up this kind of business. To your point, customers that you haven't seen in the service drive maybe for years. And to be bringing them in this, especially right now when every single dollar, every single customer counts. Yeah. This is a phenomenal program.
The other thing that we look at is in a software-driven world, you have to learn the new tools.
Yeah.
Right? You buy a piece of, you're a former dealer, you buy a piece of software, you got to teach, you got to train, you got to process. In an AI-driven world, we're selling you outcomes.
Yeah.
So I always tell this to dealers: if you're buying BizzyCar, you're not buying software. You're buying money.
Yeah.
You pay $1, and I'm gonna give you $5 back.
Wow.
$8 back. That's our promise. We guarantee the product, and if you can do that, and your team can then go focus on the other things they need to focus on in the stores. Let us handle the recalls. Let us handle the recall management. And it's not just the recalls that we're reaching out to. There are stores that I walk into on a daily basis where the recall, customers coming in for an oil change, and the customer doesn't even know they have a recall.
Oh my gosh.
And they decline it in the service drive. Drives me crazy.
Oh wow.
That should happen 0% of the time. There's dealers we go to, 50, 60% of the time.
That's crazy.
It's a huge number. It's called a missed recall opportunity. It should never occur. We're working with a lot of OEMs on driving that down to zero.
Yeah.
Some of the Japanese are really, really good at this.
Yeah.
But there's stores we walk into on a daily.
Absolutely crazy.
That should never happen.
Right.
And we've been able to, we have another product we've brought to market that has eliminated that altogether.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that is incredible, because how many times a customer comes in and says, my car was just in there. Why am I getting the recall? Right? Oh,
it frustrates them. It hurts CSI.
Of course.
And they feel guilty. If my wife came in, she was expecting an oil change, and they say, Ms. Maher, you have 2 more hours you got to stick in the store. She's I got to go pick up the kids. I don't have time to do this. She feels guilty. She's driving around an unsafe car.
Yeah.
And so what we're able to do is we reach out to her in advance. We're able to get us make sure the parts are there. We're connecting all the dots.
Right.
And then putting it together in a simple platform.
Right.
Nobody has to do it.
That's fantastic. So do you coordinate that with the BDC center that sets the appointment, or walk me through that?
We're doing it on their behalf.
Okay.
So the way, in simplistic terms, we're reaching out to the customer.
Right.
They communicate over text message. They don't have to click anything.
With you guys,
with
BizzyCar,
us, with the AI.
Okay, yeah.
They don't have to do anything.
Okay.
They schedule right into the DMS.
Okay.
We're checking parts availability, bay availability, technician availability, all of it. Nobody in the BDC has to do anything. The parts manager doesn't have to do anything. The service advisor doesn't have to do anything.
That's incredible.
It's automagical.
What? Yes, it is. Automagical, which is a AI-driven word, right?
We like that.
You went to chat for that one. Wow, that really is incredible. And of course, you're increasing RO count, upsell revenue, as we talked about, and then customer satisfaction. As you know that
huge.
It's huge. You go to
CSI is the name of the game.
It is.
And our goal here is it's customers for life, right? In the words of Carl Sewell. So we want to bring customers back that haven't been there for a long time, and then make them sticky. Yeah. And if you can do things like offer mobile repair. Yeah. You know, Mr. Fitzpatrick, your vehicle has a recall. Could we service it in your driveway? Yeah. Oh goodness, that's great. I'm in the studio today, and I can do it while you're here. That's right. And that's really where this whole process is coming together. Yeah. We build products at BizzyCar that solve pain. Yeah. We are the calamine lotion for the itch. And what we're trying to do is make it easier for dealers to do the other more complicated stuff. Right. Let us solve recalls. Right. Let us solve mobile. Wow. You go do the other stuff.
Wow. I would imagine there's some dealers that are watching, and I've said this before, that if you have 5 stores, if you have 10 stores out there, why not give Ryan a few of them? You know, right? Do you ever get that where a guy says, "Oh, I'll put you in 3 or 4 of my stores. Let's see how you perform." I mean, that's a real no-brainer. Yeah. And then once you go to them with the numbers and go, "There you go. I mean, you know, here's 60 days. Let's go. Let's do the whole group."
You got to sing for your supper, right? And right. So we'll start, you know, with the public groups. That's a great example. Yeah. You start with 3, 4, 5 stores. Sure. And then we, 6 months later, we go back and we say, "Hey, we've lowered your missed opportunity rate 35, 40%. Wow. Now this goes into every store."
That's right.
If I don't want to overcook it, but this is a product that should just exist in the industry. Yeah. It should be something that every store has. Yeah. We shouldn't be talking about recalls. Yeah. We shouldn't be talking about missed opportunities. It should just be solved. Yeah. And so, I agree. Over the next few years, we'd love to be 10, 12, 14,000 stores and help make this go away.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to us about the vision for the future, the platform. How does it evolve from here? I know you're probably always working on different programs for it to make it better, but any new innovations on the roadmap?
We have some really exciting stuff we're going to be releasing at the end of this year. Okay. So
stay tuned.
We'll be back.
Stay tuned to CBT News.
That's right.
More unfolding coverage.
We Dealer Tire led the round. There were other folks that were a part of that. Okay. And we'll be announcing later in the year what that looked like, but. There's some really exciting stuff we can do with recalls that I think we're just getting started on. Wow. And being able to pair up, again, this all goes back to data, being able to pair this up will really enhance the product. Yeah.
I would imagine too, and we didn't even talk about this, but the used cars that everyone's going out and going to be buying here, every dealer's trying to do everything they can to get used cars. All of the used cars coming in are probably on your list to go, "Oh yeah, those cars have a recall on them."
We check for that, and if you're looking to buy used cars and they have recalls, you're going to get that revenue source.
That's right. So, well, that's fantastic. Ryan Maher, CEO of BizzyCar, is a busy guy too. I mean, you got a lot going on, and congratulations on all your success thus far. These are the kinds of solutions that we want to be bringing you dealers out there. You ask us to bring you any innovations and great ideas. This would probably win the best idea at a 20 group meeting. You go, "Guess what I got in my service department?" But no, seriously, congratulations. I think you've built an incredible program, and
thank you.
And thanks so much for coming into the studio to tell our audience all about it. Any last words to leave with the dealers?
No, we're really excited with the growth, and we appreciate. We're starting to go out and share a little more vocally with what we're doing, and it's been an exciting journey, and we look forward to continuing it.
Great, awesome. We're going to put all the information on the screen here as to how to get a hold of Ryan and his team. If you do not do that and you cry about your fixed ops income, do not call me, because this is a no-brainer. So Ryan, thank you so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks for watching Driving Solutions, exclusively on CPTnews.com.